This is a 7-month review of the Langmuir Systems ArcFlat tables. Cast iron, 24 by 36. All in all, these are pretty good little tables. That piece of cold rolled steel is a precision ground, and you move it around on there, you get like a 10,000th of an inch variance across the table. I don't think I'd ever build anything that was up to that tolerance, but it seems to hold up pretty good. You know, of course, it's not dent and scratch resistant, because I'll probably show you a close-up of that, but cleaning it is one of the major challenges, because cast iron is going to rust. So what I usually do is, when I get through with a project, I Scotch-Brite down the areas that have a little rust on it. I use a little chisel to scrape off any welding BBs and wipe it down with WD-40 till it's clean, and then spray coat WD-40 on it, preserve it till the next project. The reason I've got the table separated like this is I can move it around to any configuration that I need to weld on. This is a close-up of the table surface. Show you what I'm talking about. You can ding the cast iron, and it's going to have scratches across it from dragging steel over the surface. But if you'll notice that the holes don't really have any corrosion on the inside, because it's got some kind of paint or coating that they put on the underside of the cast iron at the factory. Here's another shot of how resilient these cast iron tables can be. This corner was dropped from about 30 inches onto a concrete floor, and this is all the damage it sustained. I had a failure on one of the legs, and it toppled off another table and caused this damage. I'll probably include that in the video. I've got a whole thing on the legs and how I fixed them to make them stable. And I warn you, right after it fell, I have a few choice words to say. Each table set has a modification to the legs. It's 1x2 by 1/8 inch tubing. Got it squared up and made these racks on the bottom. I'll include a video on how I did that also. Due to lack of space in my shop for a rack cart, I had to mount some rack on the side of the welding tables. I got these off Amazon. They're pretty good. Looks like 14 gauge sheet metal, powder coated. I had already had a bar behind where you see the bolts at to bolt them on. The only problem I have is sometimes I drag my welding lead into them. Here's a closer view of the racks. I can pan around here and give you some idea of I've got them set up. They're actually pretty handy, because you don't have to go far to get a clamp or anything to hold a piece with. Now for some of the negatives. The leg sets on these things leave a little bit to be desired. I had a lot of problems when I first got it. There were some failures. I'll have that coming up. You can't get these legs square when you bolt it down. I've got it set over here. I don't know if you can see it, but they're at an angle when they're bolted down. So I had to resort to something else in order to get them all squared up. And what I did is I did a shelf for the bottom of it, and that took a day and a half just to get everything lined up and square in order to weld it up. So if you're getting these leg sets, just be aware that this pocket in here is not machined, and tubing itself is not really square with the holes that they drilled in it. So just think about that. In hindsight, I wouldn't have ordered all these damn legs. Here's one with it almost bolted down, just rocking back and forth. I just built the leg myself. I finally got everything jigged up and put this one cross piece tacked in there. I'm taking a different approach this time. I'm going to do a plane at a time. This plane right here, and then the one on the other side, and then do each end. If you'll notice, I had actually resort to tie downs in order to get this thing anywhere close to being where it needed to be. I just dropped one of the tables that I was working on. It was sitting on top of this one right here. Cheap ass bolt came loose. You can see it right here. One friggin' weld holding the bolt in there. It snapped out. I just want to point out that Langmuir Systems refunded me all the price for all three leg sets and the shipping.